My name is Joshua Stevens. I'm a consultant and developer at FlexSim in the United States, so the headquarters. And so I both work on the development team, adding to the software, and I'm also a consultant, so I actually have clients that I build models for. A lot of my consulting projects have dealt with warehousing, so that can range from using A-Star, so a lot of just generic AGVs where they can travel where they want to, but a lot of them have dealt with the AGV module, so a lot of very specific paths that they can travel on. Placing product away, staging it, storing it, prepping it to be taken to other facilities, or when it's taken to the facility, putting it away. So that's been a lot of my consultancy, and those projects ranged all over the place with different clients. So lots of different scenarios, lots of different types of warehousing. So the development work has been something that I've really enjoyed. From the beginning of development, it's mostly been trying to figure out how development works in the first place when I first started. But one nice thing that I love about working both as a consultant as a developer, that as when I do a project, there's certain parts of the process or of the software that I would like to improve. So when I'm done with the consulting project, sometimes I go right into development and I decide, oh, I really want to add this piece to the software because it was really frustrating for me in my last project that this doesn't exist, or I would like to improve upon it. Dashboards, there's many times where I create my own statistics collectors or my own graphs. And so I would love to add that into the software. So I actually take what I learned from my last project and apply it to the actual software. And so that other users have the option of having those tools that I wanted in my last project. These improvements to the software a lot of times come from our clients. A lot of times when people send in emails, they would request different options. And if it's a slight change to the software, it's very quick to add. But if it's a big new idea, then it's very fun to look at that and say, that would be really awesome to add. Some of my ideas have also come from other developers where they're on a rather large project, and so they do not have the time currently to add that to the software. And so I take that upon myself so I can take what they wanted to add to the software and with their guidance add it to the software. So it actually depends on how many other clients want to do it. It also depends on which developer wants to do it, if a developer wants to work on it at that time. So we may have a new idea that comes in, and when we look at it, we look at people's suggestions each week. And if one of those suggestions come in where all the developers are agreed upon that it should be added, or even if there's a developer that believes that his time should be diverted to adding it to the software, then it comes about pretty quick. A lot of it is if it's something that we want to implement, that we want to spend the time developing. We have that freedom where there are certain things like bug fixes where we all chip in and do those. But when it comes to development, a lot of it is what we would like to add and what we feel comfortable with, or what we want to learn how to add to the software. And so it can range from years to somebody starts working on it as soon as the idea comes in. One awesome thing I love about InterMarium was how different it is than what we see in the United States. So one thing I really thought was cool is how much you as consultants at InterMarium work with academia, especially when you are building those games for them. So there just seems to be a much closer connection between you and the schools, especially in your local area. I don't know of much connection to immediate ones, and we work with a lot of clients from the East Coast and West Coast of America, but we do have some local clients, but we don't have that very personal connection I feel that you have, and it's been very nice to see that with the local schools, with the local, I guess the local public, with that new center that simulation center, I found that quite impressive. How that was something where you could reach out to the local community very, very intimately. And I thought that was very impressive. And it's fun to see all the different varying people where they shared their experience of why they chose FlexSim and what led them to the path of choosing FlexSim. I think it's really awesome that so many people from many different backgrounds came together. I know the sharing in the actual conference was important, but one thing I think is extremely important is the connections that people make with each other. Sometimes that can lead to more ideas than was ever shared by the presenters. Many of the ideas that presenters can share can help spark something. But when people talk with each other and actually have the space to talk with each other, especially here where they can actually network and also communicate with each other, then I feel ideas spark quite strongly in that type of environment.